smaller gate here. That's where west end, the east end, there's a smaller gate. I think some of those on the bay, Sunset View.
House, 5 acres.
Down on the,
I haven't seen it.
How big? You want to say that for me tonight?
I'm good, man. You have fun with that. Hey, Bill,
What?
you took your oath and I took mine. And I'll take my job all day long.
No, he owns 7. I like it.
I've already been down there 30 times.
What's my stash?
Lane Williams on here, Keith Lane.
Yeah.
He got married. Beach house.
Yeah, if you count the writing, I didn't write it down.
Who's on public?
Yep.
Do you know how many of the right of ways have been bought?
I got several. I wouldn't do any.
Okay.
They just have gotten the renderings back. See that. Be interesting to see how they go. They gonna go with the easiest, with the fewest properties, or they gonna try to divvy it up both, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Divvy it up both sides, and then you got that many, especially when you're dealing with the backside of something, and all those people to deal with.
Yeah.
So, I think, I hate to say it, but I think people would probably be thankful that road is as narrow as it is after it's wide. Because it's very traffic common.
Yes, that's true.
People when it is, when they put up the
Some of these up
That
here are
curve in
too.
particular.
construction's going to be going on. Address this road. Construction, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you've got to be right at this point.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to welcome you to this April 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Rome City Commission meeting, and we start every meeting with an invocation and pledge to the flag, and tonight I'm going to ask our Mayor Pro Tem, Jim Bojo, to handle that for us, and if you will, stand and join us in doing that, and Mayor Pro Tem Bojo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our Heavenly Father, we come, Lord, thanking you for the beautiful day, for all the many blessings you've given us with our family, our friends, our colleagues. And God, just ask you that as we go into a time of business here, that you will stand above us all, and that everything that is said, everything that is done will bring the ultimate glory and honor to your holy name. Father, I ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, if you will call the roll.
Sir. Mayor McDaniel.
Here.
Commissioner Bojo.
Here.
Brock.
Here.
Cochran.
Here.
Beeman.
Here.
Doss.
Here.
Quick.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
You've all received our minutes from the April 8th meeting, and if there are no modifications to those, we will approve those by common consent. We have 4 proclamations tonight. The first one is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Jim Bojo if he will come forward and read that proclamation. If we have someone to receive that, if they would come forward, please.
This is a proclamation by the City of Rome in Floyd County, Georgia. Whereas child abuse and neglect are serious problems affecting every segment of our community, finding solution requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of our city, the City of Rome in Floyd County, communities and child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects and have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnership created between the organizations such as the Harbor House, the Rome Floyd County Commission on Children and Youth, Sexual Assault Center, and Family Resource Center, and child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and/or faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment, and we commit to partnering in service of prevention as this remains the best defense for our children and families. Now therefore be it resolved that the Rome City Commission and the Floyd County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Rome and Floyd County, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families.
Commissioners, thank you so much. We appreciate the support that our entire community gives to our agencies and professionals who are working to help families and children have safe, stable, and nurturing homes. We know that it's very important that families have education. It's important that they have access to resources such as housing and adequate child care. It is important that they have supports in their home to help them implement new lessons. And I'm so thankful that so many agencies are working together. Thank you for your commitment to children and families.
Next, we have National Crime Victims Week, and Chairman of our Public Safety Committee, Harry Brock.
This proclamation is from the City of Rome in Floyd County, Georgia. Be it resolved that in an effort to acknowledge the importance of victims of crime, the Rome City Commission and Floyd County Board of Commissioners do hereby designate the week of April 21st through the 27th, 2024 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Rome and Floyd County, and call upon our citizens to join us in reaffirming the commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime and expressing our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. Thank you all. Someone like to...
Thank you very much. I am Sandy Kuhneman. I'm the Floyd County Victim Witness Director. And with me, I have most of the advocates from our office. I have Abigail Talley, Julie Tomlin, Brittany Dobson, Lauren Thacker, and then our District Attorney, Lee Patterson. The Victim Witness Assistance Program has been in Floyd County for 37 years, and we are dedicated to providing each victim the services that they are afforded by the Crime Victims Bill of Rights. These rights ensure notification of any scheduled court proceeding, the right to notification of the accused's release from custody, as well as allows the victim the right to express their opinion regarding any plea negotiations. We currently have 6 advocates, and together we make contact with the victims after the arrest of the accused and work with them to navigate the criminal justice process. We help them in applying for compensation through the Crime Victims Compensation Program, and we work diligently with the prosecution team to conduct pretrial conferences where we advise each victim about what to expect on the day of trial. Every year, millions of Americans are affected by crime, and many will need ongoing care and resources. April 21st through 27th is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and this year's theme is Options, Services, and Hope for Crime Survivors. How would you help? This year's theme asks all of us, friends, family members, colleagues, community members, neighbors, victim service providers, criminal justice practitioners, how can you help? And we appreciate your support of our program, and thank you for proclaiming this Crime Victims' Rights Week.
Thank y'all for having us here again this year for Crime Victims' Rights Week. Back in October, on October the 12th of 1984, President Ronald Reagan signed the landmark Victims of Crime Act, and that legislation elevated victims' rights to the highest level of American discourse, and it created a fund for crime victim services without using taxpayer money. It's made up of condemnations from criminal cases. As Sandy said, the theme this year is how would you help? We find that happens to us every day in the DA's office. We have a victim show up in the lobby, or we make contact with them, and these ladies all help them gather their way and make their way through the criminal justice system. But as a community, sometimes all of us have known someone who is the victim of crime, and it may be a friend of yours, it may be a relative, it may be just somebody you know from church or the community. So if they come to you and they're upset, ask yourself, how would you help them? How should I talk to them? What services in our community can I refer them to? And you can always refer them to my office, and we will help them. So thank you very much.
On behalf of the Rome City Commission, thank each of you for what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Next, I'm going to ask Commissioner Wayne Robinson to come forth and read a proclamation for Fair Housing Month.
This is a proclamation from the City of Rome as well. Whereas federal and state Georgia laws prohibit discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, family status, disability, and national origin. And whereas we believe that the illegal barriers for equal housing, no matter how small, diminish the principles of justice and freedom this nation was founded upon. And whereas the City of Rome, Georgia, supports the efforts of nonprofits, the private sector, local agencies, and individuals in ensuring compliance with the federal fair housing law. And whereas the City of Rome affirms the right of all people to choose where they wish to live and can afford without encountering discrimination. And whereas the City of Rome certifies that it will engage in activities to affirmatively further housing And whereas the month of April has been designated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as National Fair Housing Month. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Craig McDaniel, on behalf of the City of Rome Commission, proclaim April 2024 as Fair Housing Month and encourage all citizens, government officials, and employees to do everything possible to ensure that this month is recognized and celebrated accordingly.
You're welcome to go to the podium and say something if you'd like. Our next proclamation is Georgia Cities Week, and Commissioner Randy Quick will read that.
Whereas city government is the closest to most citizens and the one with the most direct daily impact upon its residents, and whereas city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities, and whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along their understanding of public services and their benefits. And whereas Georgia Cities Week is a very important time to recognize the vital role played by city government in our lives. And whereas this week offers an important opportunity to spread the word to all of the citizens of Georgia that they can shape and influence this branch of government, which is closest to the people. And whereas the Georgia Municipal Association and its member cities have joined together to teach students and other citizens about municipal government through a variety of different projects and information. And whereas Georgia Cities Week offers an important opportunity to convey to all citizens of Georgia that they can shape and influence government through their civic involvement. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Craig McDaniel, on behalf of the Rome City Commission, proclaim this week, April 21st through the 27th, 2024, as Georgia Cities Week, and encourage Rome and all its citizens, city government officials, and employees to do everything possible to ensure that this week is recognized and celebrated accordingly. Given my hand and seal, this 22nd day of April in the year of our Lord, 2024.
I'm Christy Kent, the Communications Director for the Tourism Office and for the City of Rome. And one of my favorite reasons for celebrating Georgia Cities Week is I feel like cities provide the highest level of service to our citizens than any other form of government. And I think that's something to celebrate. Every year, the GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, sets the theme for Georgia Cities Week. This year, the theme is Soaring to New Heights. So when I was thinking about soaring to new heights, I was kind of thinking of superheroes. And I pitched the idea to Sammy. And I had this beautiful photoshopped photo of Sammy as Superman flying over the city of Rome with a clock tower behind him. He loved it. Oh, yeah. But he said, I don't want you to promote management. I don't want you to promote department directors. I want you to showcase and highlight our city employees who are on the front lines, who are in the trenches, who are facing customers, our citizens, every single day. So this whole week, and we started this yesterday, we are highlighting those really unique jobs in the city and the really cool people behind those unique jobs. And so I encourage everybody to follow us on social media this week and to really learn about these people that work at the city. I think you're going to meet a lot of new people and see a lot of cool jobs. Our City of Rome social media is City of Rome GA-government. Do not follow any other City of Rome page. They're all satire. Follow City of Rome GA-government. And then for those of you who aren't on social media, we'll also post it on our city website at the end of the week. So I just encourage you to follow along and celebrate with us. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner.
All good stuff. Thank you very much. I used to have to be on the same podium at Rome Rotary with Randy Quick. I don't have a deep voice, and it's kind of country and twangy. And I made the comment one time, Randy got up and followed me, and it's like being followed by the voice of God. It's almost unfair. We have several people who have registered as guests tonight, and we will start with Lee Height. You'll have 2 minutes. If you will, go to the podium, give us your name and address. You don't want to go first?
Good evening. I'm Lee Height. I'm representing the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority. Good evening, commissioners, and Sammy is our. I'm the board chair of the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority. We have an outstanding board. I'd like for them to stand, please. My board. Thank you. We all work together, we communicate together, and everyone participates on all of our boards. We have 2 other boards, the Three Rivers Housing Development Corporation and the Appalachian Housing and Redevelopment Corporation. For as long as I've been on the board, the Housing Authority has always given the city the names of the individuals whom we had knew were interested in being on our board. We take into account who is on the board, the time element that is allowed for the board, and the real desire of someone who wants to be on the board. We take into account a number of other things. I won't go into it. Most of our board is retired, and those people that are retired have the time to be on our board. Michael Taylor is not. He works for a bank, but his time is very flexible. It will take a new board member that y'all want to put on our board about 6 months to a year to fully understand all the parts of our housing authority. So I ask you, why now? Why are you so anxious to change a system that is not broken, that works? Why? Why now? I'd like an answer to that question. We are in the middle of a search for a new executive director. We need all of our board members on board who know all what they have to do to help with this process. So if you really want to continue with this, at least table it for 6 months to a year so that we can complete our search for a new executive director. Our board works. We work hard and we achieve things for our community. All the different programs that we do, all the different things that go on, we need our board to work together. Is that my time already? Our board members attend a lot of meetings, and we go on. I will simply close and say, we have a high-performing...
That's your time.
Well, give me 1 second. We have a high-performing housing authority with a board that sets effective policies and procedures that are in place that help motivate the staff to achieve their goals, that are in place to help them, and they help the residents achieve the goals that they want to reach what they have set for themselves. I hope you'll consider that. Thank you.
Next is Hilda Curtis. Ms. Curtis, if you will, give us your name and address, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hilda Curtis, 2107 Kingston Highway, Northeast Rome, Georgia, 30161. To the Commissioners of the City of Rome and visitors and Mr. Rich, I am asking for reappointment to the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority for Mr. Keaton and myself. Mr. Keaton has served the board for 15 years, and in June, 16 years, and in June it will be 17 years. I have served the board for 14 years, and in May it will be 15 years. We have provided quality housing and programs for our residents, in which we are producing contributors to society. The change in commissioners for the Housing Authority presents itself at a time when we have we'll have a new executive who will need assistance from the board, the board has been trained in rules and regulations for the programs of housing. The absence of training and knowledge could cause the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority to have some problems. Let's be concerned about the progress of all people, all ethnic people in public housing, and show love. Thank you.
Michael Taylor. Mr. Taylor, if you will give us your name and address, you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Michael Taylor. I live at 311 East 2nd Avenue in Rome, Georgia. So greetings to everybody. Thank you for allowing me this time to speak to you. I also want to talk about our board makeup. I want to start by talking about me and why Ms. Hudson selected me. My background, I do work at a bank, Synovus, and when I first came on the board, I was a commercial real estate lender. That means that I did real estate projects. My range was supposed to be 5 to 30 million around town. And kind of one of my points of pride, if I look around and see a lot of the big buildings and projects, I was able to do the financing and absolutely loved it. 15 different residential developments, 5 apartment complexes, 4 hotels, 5 shopping centers. That background is the reason she selected me. A lot of people don't know the extent of the work that we do. When I first came on the board, or a little bit after it, we took a trip to Atlanta to learn about tax credit financing and knew we wanted to get into that because it was an amazing way to expand our reach. We persevered and worked, and we're now certified. We can do our own tax credit financings, which is highly unique. In the last 3 years, I looked it up, we have done over $65 million in tax credit financing among 4 projects. That's ranged from 14 to 29 million. That brought 450 units available in this market. Overall, we manage over 2,500 units. That requires specialization, and that's why I brought me. Mr. Keaton is an amazing resource. He was a commercial real estate attorney in Atlanta for one of the largest firms. He did CRE. That is an invaluable resource. Ms. Curtis, her connectivity to this town, her experience, her exposure, public involvement has been an invaluable resource. I'll also say, as an aside, I think Ms. Curtis is one of the most intelligent, wise people I have ever met in my life. She is amazing. So my biggest concern is what we're losing. Mr. Keaton, what they provide is invaluable, but it's important to let us put forth names to help build that out. When we look at board positions, it's not just names. We're looking at ways to fill in needs that we have, community contacts, experience from the job, or contacts with the city. So again, ask you to reconsider and allow us to propose names so that we do not have a disruption in the services that we are providing. Thank you.
Reverend Terrell Shields. Reverend Shields, you'll have 2 minutes, and give us your name and address, please.
Okay, I wished I could have gave them my 2 minutes. My name is Terrell Shields. I'm the pastor of Greater Mount Calvary Baptist Church, where I served for the past 40 years. I came here 2 months ago, and I asked a simple question. Most of you who ran, Bojo, Brock, Craig, Wayne, and said that you were running on making Rome better. What we've heard through the grapevines, newspapers, and whatever else, has nothing to do with making Rome better. Matter of fact, it make it worse. Division, I thought you said unity. I think I remember you saying unity. You said that you would have a town hall meeting. You've not done that. You're taking a part of the community that have worked well under Ms. Hudson, who's been the ED for some 30-plus years, all her board members, and you're destroying it. So my question is, when will we hear the agenda for Rome and Floyd County to make it better? You know, now my thoughts are you got it from MAGA, Make America Great Again. But nevertheless, we want to know what the agenda is, who's on the agenda, and can we have an input on the agenda? You promised a town hall meeting. Well, you're welcome to come to Greater Mount Calvary anytime. My friend Reverend Ingram, he have a community center. He have a life center, yeah, thank you. And I'm quite sure he would invite you there, and if he had to get paid for it, he and I will scrap it up. But don't lie to us. You said a town hall meeting. We're waiting. You said you're gonna make Rome better. How, when, where, and how? Tell us so we can be a part of. Thank you.
Larry Mara. Larry, if you will, give us your name and address. You've got 2 minutes.
My name is Larry Marr Sr. I live at 313 Delwood Drive here in the city of Rome. First of all, let me say good evening. I'm here tonight to ask a question. I'd like to ask the City Commission, why have they recommended that 2 longtime members of the board to be replaced? I would like to ask the Commission, why are you doing so at this particular time? These 2 members, namely Mrs. Hilda Curtis and Mr. Jim Keaton, who have city streets that are named after them. And these streets were named in honor of their commitment and the service to the Housing Authority. Well, I'd like to say to the Commission, to the City Commission, that this is an embarrassment. I mean, this is an embarrassment not only to Mrs. Curtis and Mr. Keaton, but it's an embarrassment to the black community. You know, we're losing, recommending a person, the minority, Mrs. Curtis, and then you recommend a white person to replace him. And in this city, there's over 1,100 people that use the service of the Housing Authority as compared to about 300 whites. And without representation, it just isn't fair not have someone from the black community to represent the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority has been great for this city and has done a lot of great things. Further, it seems that this new city commission that we have, which is now majority white, look, it seems as though they have an agenda.
Mr. Moore, your time's up.
Time is up?
Your time's up.
Well, it seems to have an agenda that wants to take us back to the days of Jim Crow laws that ended in 1965. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Malone. You'll
Good
have-
evening. I'm Sarah Dalise Malone. I'm president of Rome, Florida NAACP. I reside at 204 Woodbine Avenue, Rome 30165 with my husband Samuel. I stand before you this evening. I have a lot to say, but it has already been said, and since we only have 2 minutes, let me say good evening. Excuse me, let me back up and say good evening. Most of what I was going to say has already been said, so I do stand before you on behalf of the Rome, Florida NAACP membership. Some of the citizens of Rome, especially our minority members, I stand before you on behalf of the citizens of Rome that are what we call considered less fortunate. Some of us were not born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We don't have a way to live in $300,000 and $400,000 homes, different subdivisions, go to college, etc. Ms. Hudson, the executive director for the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority, would not be there without her board. Her board would not be there without Mrs. Hudson. They have done great things for the city of Rome, not just African American, all citizens. I grew up in the days where we had what were called projects. Some of the nicest people, some of my best friends, some of the most people that I admire were residents of public housing, but they called them projects back then, and we loved going to the projects to play and eat and everything. So please, I ask you all ran, you're gonna make Rome great. You don't make anything great by going backwards. Please, I respectfully ask you to let's move forward. Please do not interrupt what's going on right now during the transition of getting a new executive director, because we don't know who we're gonna get. So we just need to take time. Why? Please tell us why you're so quick to wanna make this move. I want to know why. Please and thank you. I respectfully ask you to re-nominate and accept Mrs. Hilda Curtis and Mr. Jim Keaton to the board of directors, and thank you.
Sam Malone. Sam, you'll have 2 minutes. Give us your name and address.
Okay, is that after I introduce myself, or? Okay, my name is Samuel Malone III. I live at 204 Woodbine Avenue in Rome, Georgia. I'm a proud native Roman. I was educated here. I grew up here, and I have many friends here. There's been a lot said about what's going on with the Housing Authority, and I echo all of those sentiments. But I came up in the 50s and 60s, and I went to an all-black high school, which I'm proud of, Maine High School. And I was afforded a great education by some great people. But, and I've seen Rome go through some issues. We've gone through issues, but Rome has always been, to me, a shining light on the hill that all these other surrounding counties look like wanted to mimic. But I see that dissipating now. I see it going away, and I really don't like it. And for those of you who know a little bit about machines and mechanics and stuff, the best and most efficient machine is the one that you do not stop. And if you do carry on with your appointments, we're already losing Miss Hudson. Okay, that's one cog in the machine. But then you're going to take 2 more cogs out. You're going to shut it down for quite a while. And if you want it to be a good continuation of what's going on now and how well it's run, you do not shut that machine down. And I think that's what you're doing. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Chaka Denise Johnson. You have 2 minutes, if you will. Give us your name and address.
Hello, my name is Shaka Dennis Johnson. My address is 36 Washington Drive. I'm coming before the board because I'm a concerned citizen. Because of our parks, our public parks, I have went and tried to do an event since 2015 when my nephew got killed. So every year I do an event to give back to the community. So all of a sudden this year, they're giving me a hard time. They came forward with a $1 million insurance policy. I did that. They came forward with a permit for the park. I did that. They came with another permit, a similar permit. I did just that. I have done everything that the Florida Parks and Recreation has asked me to do. Okay, so in the event of now, I still can't have my event at a public park. I'm a taxpaying person. I pay taxpaying dollars, and I'm trying to see why we cannot use our community park. And it's sad. It's sad that when you try to do the right thing, you get put down. When you're doing the wrong thing, you're still getting put down. So what do you want us to do in our community? Can we not go on our parks and do certain things? So please, give us our park back. And the reason why I'm stating that, because no matter what we do, no matter where we go, it's an issue. So with me doing the right thing, it's still an issue. I got the $1 million insurance, but they still knocking me down with having my event on the park. This park is to bring us together and love one another. And see, but if we're shooting, we're killing, everybody really talk about that. But don't nobody want to talk about the good things that we're trying to do in our community. So please, give us our park back. Give us a chance to show you all that we are a loving community in North Rome area, South Rome area, West Rome area. Just give us a chance. And guess what? Y'all all are welcome to come out and see how we carry on in our community. We are loving. So people need to stop assuming what type of city that we live in, what type of town. And it's sad because you know what was told to me? That community, that place, that flyer, them people. What do you mean by that and them? So what I'm doing, I'm taking a stand because we want our community back. We want to be able to go on our park in peace. And when you try to do it in peace, we still get knocked down. So what I'm saying is, I have done the right thing. Insurance, the assembly permit, because I'm trying to get like a bull to come on our park, a mechanical bull to come on the park. I have got the permit, got everything. And I was still told today, you cannot have that event. Hold on, we got to have a meeting. So why, if I have done everything the correct way? Thank you.
Ma'am, may I ask? Ma'am, let me ask you a question. The operation of the Parks and Rec comes under the purview of the Floyd County government. Have you talked with the folks at Floyd County?
Sir, I have talked to everybody. And like today.
Have you specifically talked with any of the Floyd County commissioners or
all of them? Yes, I have.
county manager?
Yes, so everybody has kind of like, so tomorrow, they is holding an emergency meeting with me at 11 o'clock in the morning and want me to speak more about this event. And like I said, my nephew was killed in 2015. These are events, I have 2 a year, one in May and one in July. The one in July, I actually give back. And it remind you, this come out of all my family's pocket. We buy bicycles, we buy over 300 book bags, and we give it away to the community. Feed the community and everything. So this event that's coming up in May the 4th, the same thing, give them an opportunity to ride a free bull. Some of these kids never know nothing about a bull ride or anything like that. So I'm trying to bring something to the community, to bring back love, peace, and just, all that. So yes, I have talked to
If you will
my
stay
people.
after the meeting, I'm going to give you my card and I'll reach out to the Director of Parks and Rec. I was on that board last year representing the city.
Okay.
And I will find out. I can't approve it. We don't approve those
And that's
things. But
understandable.
it's a Floyd County issue. But in Parks and Rec, those kind of things are approved by, anything to do with the parks is approved by them. But I'll give you my card and I'll call him for you.
Okay, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
We don't approve those things.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, as you're a representative on that rec department, I would also like to be involved in that conversation.
Are you the representative now?
I am the representative on the correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we have no other public speakers. We have no resolutions. We have nothing on first reading. On second reading, we have three. We have two alcohol-related issues, and we have one ordinance to close off a portion of an alley. Go to our city clerk.
Sir, Mr. Mayor, first ordinance is an amendment to our alcohol ordinance, and this is for the creation of a standard drink price option. And of course, that would be intended to be used by establishments that are required to meet our food drink ratio, those that sell distilled spirits by the drink. And basically, the recommendation from the Alcohol Control Commission is the establishment of a standard drink price, which would be a tool that could be used, if chosen, by pouring establishments. Just real quick, of course, those establishments will continue to sell their drinks, price their drinks, and sell their drinks at their choosing, and they'll pay the tax on that drink price. But for the computation of the food drink ratio, we would use a standard drink price with the intention of not penalizing those places that sell higher priced drinks, thus requiring them to sell more food, if that makes any sense. And the standard drink price for this purpose would be $5 per ounce.
Okay. We discussed this in caucus. I think everybody understands it. On the city commission, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept it as proposed.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, the next ordinance is also an alcohol amendment, and this is more of a housekeeping matter, and it regards the language our city code uses concerning excise tax. Excise tax is paid by wholesale distributors for all alcohol delivered in the city, whether that be beer, wine, or liquor. There's a different tax amount for each of those. And we're not changing the tax amount, but simply changing some language that has become outdated in our code as compared to the current state statute. So again, more of a housekeeping matter, language change, but no change in the tax rate.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
And the third item on the second reading is an ordinance to close a portion of an alley off of East 14th. Bryce, are you going to?
I've got the ordinance up. This will finalize the process you all started a few weeks ago with the adoption of the resolution to close this alley. That resolution was adopted, it's been advertised, and now the ordinance is back before you all on second reading to officially close this alley and deed it to the adjoining property owners. You can see there are 3 adjoining property owners: Trinity Holdings of Rome, Richard Dixon, and June Abels Acock. That's our standard procedure to deed any closed streets to the adjoining owners. This alley is east of 14th Street and is a 50-foot right-of-way, and it terminates at Highway 27.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Motion carries. We have 4 items on public hearing. First item, I will go to Commissioner Quick. These are items that came from Planning Commission. Commissioner Quick and Bryce Wood, our planner, will handle these.
Our first item is SUP 240402. It is a request for a special use permit for an adult daycare for the property located at 213 East 16th Street in Rome. It's zoned high-density traditional residential, Floyd County Tax Parcel J14N210. Comes with the Planning Commission recommendation of approval 8-0. Bryce?
Yes, sir. So the applicant property is outlined in the map on your screen. The request is for an adult daycare. The applicant already owns and operates a personal care home for senior citizens nearby on South Broad Street. This would reportedly serve as a daycare for those residents as well as some additional people. The applicant initially advised that she was hoping to have 18 to 20 clients. The ULDC only allows for up to 18 plus staff. The house is approximately 1,300 square feet, just over 1,300 square feet. Staff had concerns about the viability of squeezing that many people plus staff into such a small house. The house will require extensive renovation to be brought up to the building code and fire code. 18 people plus staff also generates a tremendous amount of trash. The applicant states that they will be carpooling from her personal care home and some other site. However, staff did have a concern about traffic prior to knowing that, and a special use permit also stays with the property even if another person comes along. Let's see, this is the application itself. We asked multiple questions of the applicant, approximately how many people, the hours of operation. She says 8 to 5. This is looking into the property from the street. They will have to address parking and multiple other factors. Some of the other homes in the neighborhood. There is an old church immediately adjacent. This does come with a staff recommendation of denial, and the Planning Commission voted to approve by a vote of 8 to 0. Thank you.
Okay, I hereby declare the public hearing open. Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? If you will have 10 minutes. If you will, give us your name and address, and you may begin.
Tamika Fitzgibbons, 230 South Broad. I'm the owner and operator of Fitz Personal Care off of South Broad, where I have 8 beds for senior citizens, as well as 2 younger tenants. At the present time, we are unable to have my tenants go to a day program. And so it is my hope that I can bring them over to this other facility to provide and advance their memory and community connection. So there were several questions about how it would be ran, the parking, and far as traffic, no one will be driving there. They're brought by the staff. They will be transported in a van, as well as we are out of the facility by 3 o'clock. The state only allows 6 hours. There's no traffic over there during the day. There's a church beside, and I own the lots beside the house, so there's enough room to accommodate what is needed. And even though the size is in question, there will only be no more than 5 people in each room.
Okay, I hear about it.
I've got a quick question, maybe more for Bryce. Is something like this have to be sprinkled, if it were children that are in there, does this have to be sprinkled?
Per the fire marshal, yes.
Well, if I may.
Sure.
So in the other facility, and because no one's spending the night there, and I could be totally incorrect, but I know that I have to have the red box and the additional accommodations for that and to be monitored every day. But I'm not completely sure that I have to have a full sprinkling system.
Quick question, Mr. Mayor. Tamika, could you ask me a couple of questions for me? How long you been doing this business?
Well, I've had this business, my nonprofit, for 12 years. I've also served the community for 24 years with DFACS, where I bring the kids to see their parents, and I also provide not only my place, but I'm the contact for both of the hospitals to place our homeless people. And so I do that not only for Floyd County, I take them as far as Atlanta.
Quick other question, you have a good track record working with the clients in which you've served? You have any problem at all?
No, as a matter of fact, the tenants that I got 6 years ago are still there.
Is it fair to say that you have to meet certain obligations for the state for us bringing things up to par, et cetera, et cetera?
You can't open without the license and with the state giving you permission. I have to pass every level of inspection.
During your questioning, did you express these things to staff?
Yes, I was very clear.
Did you express these things to the planning commission?
Yes, I did.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I have one. I have one too. Ms. Sparks, could you also state the need of having an adult daycare here?
Yes, at this present time, not only we have over 10,000 homeless people, but we also have, right now, we have over 5,000 people with early stages of dementia that have no place to go. And we already know our idle mind is a devil playground. So I just want to give them the ability to come out and to have a happy space and to interact with one another for a few hours. So it is necessary, it's needed, and it's something that I want to see happen. I have to start small, so I'm asking to open here, but I plan to continue to expose more people and accommodate more people in the community.
Thank you.
You had mentioned during the Planning Commission meeting that you would be possibly cutting off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. How many people total would be in the house during the time period?
So I understand no more than 8, but, 18, I'm sorry. And also the ratio is 1 to 14 for staff, but we will have 2 staff. So I'm certainly okay with meeting the expectation if we just do 15 and have 3 staff.
Okay. And how many restroom facilities are in this home?
2.
Okay.
Everything have to be ADA compliant, handicap bathrooms and all that?
You have to have, well, yes, you
Yeah,
have to
pretty
have
much.
the railing, and you have to have a way for them to come in. Everything has to meet the same accommodations as I had to for the personal care.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I declare the public hearing.
No, whoa. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I declare the public hearing closed. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve this adult daycare.
I second that.
Motion is second. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo,
Yes.
Rock,
Yes.
Cochran,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Congratulations and thank you for what you do. Thank you. I should have said this before we got in the public hearing to the commissioners. If you have a conflict of interest on anything that we're voting on, our attorney has informed us on a number of occasions, you know to recuse yourself. Bryce?
Second item is Z 24-04-04. It's a request for rezoning from suburban residential to multifamily residential for the property located at North Broad Street Extension, Rome, Georgia, 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel, J13W080B. And Planning Commission denied this by a vote of 5-3.
All right. The applicant.
Excuse me, Bryce. Mr. Mayor, I need to recuse myself.
The applicant property is outlined on the map on your screen. Under its current suburban residential zoning, the applicant could build up to 6 dwelling units if the property were subdivided. The request is to rezone to multifamily residential. The applicant is seeking to build a series of townhouses. You currently have the Crestwood neighborhood across the street, the North Point neighborhood to the north, and multiple older homes further south on North Broad Extension. You all previously approved a large apartment complex that will enter, or will be allowed to enter and exit through here and over on Highway 53. This is the current zoning map of the area, showing the newly rezoned property to the north for the apartment complex. This property is on North Broad Extension, and as y'all know, we do have a large street project in the works that will upgrade that to include curb and gutter and I believe sidewalks, if I'm not mistaken. This is the applicant's site plan. The one concern that staff really had is, this shows 14 driveways right next to this real sharp curve, which is already dangerous. And once you widen it by adding curb and gutter, you potentially allow people to drive even faster around that curb. That was discussed, the possibility of requiring rear entry townhouses so that, someone would have to pull around back and you would not have 14 points of ingress and egress. Y'all can choose how you want to handle that. Let's see, this is just an image of similar townhouses that the developer has produced in the past. I believe these are out of Cartersville. This is looking into the property from North Broad Extension. Looking back south on North Broad Extension, you can see the new homes on the left and directly across the street. As you heard, this did come with a staff recommendation of approval. It got a Planning Commission recommendation of denial by a vote of 5-3. Thank you.
I now declare the public hearing open. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this request? You will have 10 minutes. If you will, give us your name and address, please.
That's Walt Griffin, 333 West 9th Street. I just want to speak in favor of this development. It's going to be very fitting for what is happening in the North Broad community. We're attempting to put some affordable housing, some townhouses that'll sell for in the $225,000 to $250,000 range, which would be very rare bird nowadays in this housing market. I understand the concern for the road, backing out into the road, but there's currently 36 driveways on this same road that do back out into the same exact road. The option would be to do single-family housing, which is as it's on now, and we can get 8 driveways there now. This is just simply increasing the number from 8 to 14. It's a little more, but otherwise the single-family homes are going to be well into the $350,000 range, and that'll probably put us out of the affordable housing on that market. Currently, the apartment project that has been approved to go beside us, it would be very fitting and complementary to that. We've also developed affordable housing in Crestwood. We had a lot of opposition to that project prior to the start of that project. A lot of concerns from neighbors that will be here today to represent their side, as we all have over the different projects have become to know each other quite well. And I just feel like it's a good project, and I ask that the city would approve this. We're ready to get started. Another caveat is, as the city is attempting to buy up right-of-way to increase this road size to accommodate more safety on the road, more space, which is going to be one of the things you're going to hear about from the North Point community. We have the largest stretch of road frontage on North Broad Extension right now. It's 360 feet, and with the approval of this, we're willing to donate our road frontage to the city for their right-of-way acquisition instead of selling it to them. And I'm sure there's going to be some additional things brought up by the opposition, and if I could, I'd like to save my time to rebuttal any of that.
Anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition to? Sam? You will give us your name and your address.
Okay. My name is Sam Evans, and I live at 3 Indian Trace Drive, which is in the North Point subdivision, which is a single-family residential area. It's also adjacent to a single-family residential, which is called Crestwood. It's also off of North Broad Extension, which carries other residential single-family housing. When this was proposed to change to a single-family dwelling, we were excited because the builder, we understood at that point, was going to build maybe 2 houses and maybe possibility of 3 single-family dwelling homes. And like I said, the neighborhood had no opposition to that at all. But for him to try to change, for them to try to change the zoning from single-family back to multifamily, we just are not in favor. And again, it was mentioned by the builder. Yes, there's 14 driveways that will be entering into the North Broad Extension Road, and it's right by a bad curve in the Crestwood area. We just feel like that's not what needs to be built in that particular area. It needs to be single-family dwelling. Now, the other thing, all the homes around us are single-family, one owners. Well, I don't know about the one owners. They're single-family, and they're not rental units. People have bought them either for their own personal use, and they are not rental. And we do not feel like if we go to a multifamily, making 14 townhouses, that's going to become rental property, and our neighborhood is just not in favor of that. Now, I will say one positive thing, not about that, but while I'm here, I have been privy to see the road plans of North Broad Extension that has furnished to me by the Aaron Carroll's office, and really it's going to be a plus once we get that. But as was just mentioned, once we get that, it's going to make these houses backing back into a driveway even worse, because we got people speeding right now, and we know we're going to have people speeding once we get the roads improved. So bottom line is, we're not in favor of any townhouses being built. We would not feel like this needs to be changed. It ought to be single-family dwelling, and that's all. Thank you very much.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
7 minutes, 15 seconds.
I'm Ann Summersill. I live in the North Point subdivision, 13 North Point Drive, Rome, Georgia, 30161. I think something we're missing here is this company has already wanted to rezone several other pieces of property, and we're going to get 360 apartments on the hill at the end of one of our streets. So how much more apartment buildings do we need? There's 360 units going to be up at the end of the hill of our subdivision. Behind my home, there's a pasture. I understand there's going to be several apartment buildings there, and now we're going to have more apartments. Now, when I bought my home, I was under the impression that this was zoned for single-family dwellings. I mean, don't we all buy our homes because of the area we're going to be in? I mean, it doesn't matter who your neighbors are. It matters that you're in an area where you feel you can either raise children or grandchildren, or you can just enjoy growing old in your home. And so now then, we've taken what our planning commission has spent, how many years, how long did it take them to do this countywide planning? Because we were going to plan the growth of Rome, which I love this town. I have been here over 50 years, and my brother said I should work for the City Chamber of Commerce. But I love this place, and I want to see us grow. Of course we need to grow, and we need all kinds of housing. But we need it to be planned, and we need to think about safety. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in opposition?
My name is Bonnie Jacobs. I live at 14 Indian Trace Drive in North Point subdivision. Yes, we have been in opposition of some of the building that's gone on, and a lot of that was due to the roads. Because North Broad Extension Road is like a little country road as you enter from 53 from either end. In the middle, when they built Crestwood, they did widen that part of the road. But as Crestwood, all of those houses, all of the traffic from those houses exit through that one entryway right on the curve. And so far, I don't know that we've had big accidents on that corner, but they're just waiting to happen. People speed down that road now that we have, I think it's 60-some houses in the Crestwood area, and our homes in North Point are 41. So you have all the traffic from that. And in our neighborhood, we don't have children because it's mostly retired individuals. But in the Crestwood area, there are a lot of children. So now we have school buses coming down that road, and guess where they pick the children up? Right at that curve. If the school bus is coming down the street, you will stop your car and pull over almost into the ditch to make enough room for big trucks or for the school bus to pass through. It's just going to be a nightmare. At the one end, if you're facing North Point subdivision, on our right is going to be a massive apartment building complex that could exit out to 53 on the other end. And then you're going to have another apartment complex that they have approved, and that is going to be right on that curve. So where is everybody going to go? Right on North Broad Extension. How many people can we cram into this one area? I'm all for growing Rome, but we have to think about what we're doing. What about the safety of our kids getting on these school buses and school buses trying to route through? I know they're going to improve the road eventually, but we've been waiting, what, I think about 3 years. The only improvement that we have seen is a bunch of potholes from all the trucks bringing in cement trucks, dirt trucks, you can name any kind of truck, lumber trucks, everything has been coming on that road. So when I drive that road, I pull in the opposite lane to drive halfway down it. and just very slowly, hoping that nobody's gonna come, and then I hurry up and shift back over into the lane I should be in, so that my car doesn't have to go boom, boom, boom down the street. I mean, let's plan Rome to be for the greater good of all of the community. We don't have to cram a whole bunch of apartments and housing on top of one another. So let's do better planning. Thank you.
We have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left for anybody else that wants to speak in opposition. Walt can come back and speak.
He's got rebuttal time.
You can come back, and you've got about
7.5 minutes.
7.5 minutes, Walt.
If everybody could just please hold their applause for me until afterwards. Listen, this comes down to when the planning department has done an excellent job of planning, and I think that's why we're getting their recommendation to approve this project. We keep talking about 14 additional houses. Well, there's going to be 8 regardless. So we're talking about 6 more. And in retrospect, the whole additional 355 or 450 apartment units that are coming, 6 is not going to be that much impactful in the grand scheme of things here, guys. I mean, safety is not going to make a matter. And if you'll notice, there's nobody here in opposition from the Crestwood subdivision because it is an affordable home subdivision, which is, those people are not have a problem with this. The only people that have a problem with it is the people from the North Point subdivision, and they come to every single zoning and planning commission event we've had. And I'm not here to downgrade them or berate them. I understand they sat on an island for a long time by themselves, and the growth is somewhat painful. But growth in this community is painful wherever it goes. And this is an opportunity to gain affordable housing, workforce housing. And there's a big question in growth in the community. It's whether you put the chicken in front of the egg or the egg in front of the chicken. And we can't get new industry. We can't get better paying jobs. We can't improve our community's well-being if they don't have a place to live when they get here. This commission, a lot of these people have served on the economic development of this community, and they'll tell you real quick that without the housing, we can't do it. We can't get teachers in our community because we don't have housing for the teachers. This is an affordable housing a teacher, a law enforcement, a fire, any public servant can have. We saw a lot of them here tonight that just can't afford a $350,000, $400,000 home, but they can afford this. And I think it'd be negligent on our part to deny them the opportunity to do this. And I think it's a good project. You've seen the pictures. I've been proven on what we've built here in the past. But between public housing and what Smith Douglas has done in our community, it's about 85% of the growth in our community has come from those 2 areas right there. And I think we'd be remiss if we silence the growth in this area right here. It's accessible to bus lines. It's accessible to the schools. It's just a great opportunity to utilize this project. And as far as trying to over-densify the area, I'm also a part of a project that's a piece of property that sits in that curve, directly in the curve. And in order to not develop it, it's 120 acres. We decided we'd put that in a conservation easement, so that's something that'll never be developed right there, is that 120 acres. It'll be maintained safe. And I think that's about all I have to say. I appreciate your time, everybody listening to them.
Anyone else here to speak in favor of? I declare the public hearing closed. You are here to speak in favor of?
No, we don't.
In opposition?
We're already past that.
You have 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Hello again. My name is Sarah Dalise Malone. I live at 204 Woodbine Avenue, Rome, Georgia, 30165, with my husband, Sam Malone. I am here as a concerned citizen standing before you this time. Affordable, sir. Define affordable. You all are wanting to bring people in here to live in the city of Rome and take care of their housing needs and their job opportunities. What about the people that already live here? We have plenty of people here that needs jobs, and more than plenty of people that needs affordable housing, and thank you.
I declare the public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion that we approve this rezoning.
Have a motion, need a second.
For the sake of debate, I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I got some discussion, Mr. Mayor. To Walt, if I may. Don't take the podium. You emphasized when you was calling for that change and of that ordinance so that it'd be multifamily, that you talked about affordable housing, correct?
Yes.
And you said that these houses or condos be between 200,000 to 250.
Yes.
Would you accept that as being part of the motion?
So let me say this. This is the projected, request of the builder, will be building Smith Douglas. That I can't speak to what they can guarantee as a request. I don't know what the building cost will be when they finish this. But as you can tell, in Crestwood, everything there has been affordable. It's sold out in 18 months, all ownership.
Well, I heard different when Crestwood was being sold, and we was told pretty much the same thing about affordable housing, and some of those houses up there was said to be on this floor around 2 to 285, and you had houses up there selling for anywhere from 3 to 385. And I'm just trying to use your words to ask you, could you make that part of the motion that they would not go over the 250?
I'd be speaking for Smith Douglas. But I would tell you this, the average sales price of the house in Crestwood is $236,000. It is, certainly it is. It is.
Well, some of the clients are getting a different story, is all I'm
Well,
saying.
that's because they offer $100,000 worth of upgrades if somebody chooses to do so. You can go to Longbrook right now, they've sold 100 houses over there. And the 100 houses they sold, their average sales price is under $300,000. And listen, I want to say one other thing too about as far as the commitment to affordable housing. I've made a commitment to that myself personally. I bought 17 lots in South Rome, and I've built 9 houses in there, and all of them sold for under $220,000. I've made a commitment to this program to do that.
We're just asking for the same thing for these new homes.
If I was building them, I could make that commitment, Bill, but I'm not building, I'm selling lots. So. Pardon?
This is a different conversation. We've got a motion on the floor. Got a second?
I have a question. Can someone give us an update on the road improvements?
I'll take it, Chad. Yeah.
Sammy?
So you guys recall that the city commission made the decision that we would endeavor to upgrade the North Broad extension. We engaged the service of Mr. Chuck Harden, who's here tonight with Southern Engineering, and those plans have been completed, and I believe were submitted to the city in March, and we're going through the process of acquiring the necessary right-of-way. And if we have some luck, we should be under construction June or July, and again, with good weather, maybe be finished by the end of this year with construction. So it's underway.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Any other discussion? Harry, Commissioner
Bryce,
Fox?
I'd like to ask, in a MR zoning, do you typically have a drive per unit?
So MR zoning allows for all sorts of multifamily. It
Right.
could be apartments, townhouses, duplexes. It it varies widely.
I would say generally in MR, you don't have a driveway per unit.
More commonly in Rome, yes, you would. No, I'm not saying that's right, but that's what's most commonly seen.
Are you talking about DR or MR?
MR.
Okay. I'm just thinking, when I think multifamily residential, I think multi-unit, sometimes multi-story, and you just typically, MR, you typically don't have a driveway per unit. The only way that I see this make sense is a single drive or a drive in and drive out. I guess that means a setback or a drive behind, but to me, if you think you got road problems now, wait till it's wide. So, you know, that's unfortunate, but a bad road is very traffic calming. You don't like to appreciate that, but in some cases, you know, the wider that road gets, the more comfortable people feel, it's faster they're going to drive. So something you should be aware of. But is there a possibility of limiting that access like that?
Absolutely. You guys have the authority to do that.
Is that something that the developer builder is willing to look at?
Definitely willing to look at it. In fact, we actually put a plan together, and we chose not to deliver it here tonight because it would be a conditional that would depend on a variance. In order to do what we're talking about doing, which would create two entrances, one in and one out, with impervious pavement in there, require a couple of things that we can't get answered here in this meeting tonight. And that would be, we would need a variance for the rear setback of the property to move the units back. Now, if you can guarantee me a variance to do that, I have no problem doing this. About a $200,000 addition to put all the pavement in there, to accommodate that, I moved the little over 8,000 square feet of pervious asphalt to do that. To create it. Then you would have an entrance in and an entrance out. You're still gonna have 14 units that would be in and out the same curve that everybody's concerned about. Maybe it's just not all at the same time. I don't think that's gonna happen anyway. But we have entertained that idea, and we've got a drawing. In fact, Chuck had a drawing here done today. We just chose not to present it because we can't be limited on, depending on whether or not it'll get approved for at a commission, because we go through spend $60,000 doing engineering on it, and then get to the Board of Adjustments, and then we get denied a variance, and we spend a lot of money for something that can't be developed and done. And also, there's another factor to that, Mr. Ross, would be the detention. Currently, the detention for this project would be put in the rear of the property. If we do it this way, we would have to put all the detention down there in the corner, which if we might have to do that anyway if we do single-family residential, because it'd be considered a minor development. So we'd have to put a detention pond in the corner of that road, in the curb, right directly in the curb, which is the lowest point in the entire property on the overall extension. So if we put detention there, that fills up, and if it overflows, then you're gonna flood the road. So detention in the rear of the property makes the most sense. In order to do that, you have to have the room back there to flood. Is that not?
Well, that corner's in a conservation easement.
No, our property is up against the corner of the easement.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here.
Right there at the corner, if you'll notice where our property is there, that would be where the detention would be in that lowest area.
I think what we'll do is just ask him to, I don't think there's, if we vote. Walt, I think what we do, I think there's probably enough either confusion or negative feeling about it. The best thing for you to do is probably take it back, reconfigure it, bring it back before the commission. If we vote on it, We have a motion on the floor, we have a motion and a second. If we go ahead and call for the vote, that may be the best thing to do.
So well, my request would be, if it doesn't pass, that we, it fails without prejudice, which allows Walt to go back and,
Subsequent motion.
that's a sub, okay.
I'll defer to the attorney, but I think that'd be a subsequent motion if this motion fails.
Go ahead and call the vote.
Mayor's call for the vote.
What, let's clarify.
He might want to do what the mayor said.
That,
May not get to Heather.
I didn't hear what Andy said.
let the attorney speak.
Get the microphone.
In the motion, if you all would allow the amendment to the motion, that's, you could have that one vote. That's up to how you want to handle it.
I will amend the motion.
I'll second the amendment that if it fails without prejudice.
So reinstate the motion.
So the motion now to vote on would be whether or not to allow the amendment. And then you can go forward. The vote should be on allowing the amendment if you all agree on the motion.
You're voting on an amendment.
Vote only on the amendment to allow us to.
And the amendment is?
Joe can restate the motion.
Andy, I'll restate the motion. You correct me if I say it wrong. So the motion is to approve the request, but if it fails, it will fail without prejudice.
Gotta have two votes.
Okay? So right now, we're voting on the amendment only, not the main motion, the amendment. Okay?
Confused.
Amendment is the provision to allow the without prejudice if the main motion fails. Okay?
Which means he can bring it back.
Bring it back.
Okay.
Voting on the amendment. Questions?
Well, I would only say that almost encourages us not to pass it.
Vote on the motion.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask the attorney a question? What happens if we table it?
On a zoning matter, when you table something, plus it comes back up, then, it's not a denial.
Stays on the table. Can you take it out? Stays on the table.
Whether the ULDC says that you table something, it's not a denial, it's an automatic approval. I don't think it says that.
He withdraw it, okay? He withdraw his action, Mr. Attorney.
We got to vote on it.
With or without prejudice.
Has to be a vote.
I may be wrong, but I don't believe the ULDC allows you to withdraw it.
After it goes to planning commission, you guys have to make a vote on it.
Yeah.
With or without.
Well, the motion that is up for a vote is the amendment, which states if the main motion, which is a motion to approve, fails, it will be without prejudice. So the amendment basically is adding the without prejudice section to the main motion. Okay?
But if we vote on
Vote
it,
on the main motion.
but if we vote on it and we're voting on the amendment, we're voting to say that if it fails, then we're going to give him opportunity to bring it back. Which means we're still approving it.
No.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table the application.
We've got two motions.
I would like to make a motion to table the application.
You have to vote on the motion that's already
I can second that.
Mr. Mayor, the motion to table, there's no discussion, let's vote.
Voting on the motion to table, Commissioner Bojo is abstained. Brock,
Yes.
Cochran,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Dawes,
No.
Quick,
No.
Collins,
Yes?
Robinson has abstained. I have 4 yes votes, 2 no votes to table.
Tabling the vote, where does it put down in terms of?
Next available commission meeting, we'd be back. It would continue on the agenda.
We'll have to go back, I would have to start the whole process over with planning.
Yes, motion to table passes 5-2. It'll stay on the table until y'all take it off the table.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
So Mayor, just to make sure we're all on the same page, are we all on the same page? That,
Well, we table the motion and bring the motion back with any changes.
but it can remain tabled until
Till he
this,
brings it back.
correct, thank you.
According to the ULDC, it does specify that if we table a rezoning, we'll take it up at the next scheduled meeting. So that's
But we may table it again.
right. It could continue to get tabled.
He learned a lot, you learned a lot. I don't know if we learned anything. But, it's very complicated in terms of, Walt has been a great developer in terms of, we said we want growth and we want new houses because people are moving here. He's done a great job in helping us with that. People, I had this conversation yesterday. As commissioners, we're faced with NIMBYs, not in my backyard. People don't want development in their backyard. And you have cave people, Citizens Against virtually everything. If you're a commissioner, you're faced with those two populations, and we hear it all the time. So we deal with people like that fight the battles, and they want to see the growth, and we have to be accommodating to them. I'm about to have a large development in my backyard. I live out in West Rome, off Huffacre. I'm probably 300 homes. I've argued for growth so much I can't speak up against it. I got to keep my mouth shut. I don't want it there. I have to keep my mouth shut. We'll find a way to make that work there.
We're just looking for single-family dwelling.
And you may get that, but you may
You may
not
get attached.
it. We all love each other.
They may be attached.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we'll try to make it work where everybody's happy, but if they're not happy, we're still gonna love each other. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, just quick.
Next item is C24-04-05. It's a request for rezoning from community commercial to urban mixed use for the property located at West 8th Avenue in Rome, Floyd County Tax Parcel J13Y049. Comes with the Planning Commission unanimous recommendation of approval.
If you don't mind, I'm going to give them a second. All right, the applicant property is outlined on the map on your screen. It's a fraction of an acre. It's just up the hill here, just beside the Hampton Inn and the Days Inn. You can see Turner McCall in the upper right-hand corner of the map. The request is to rezone from community commercial to urban mixed use. This is a zoning map of the area. It is located within the Between the Rivers Historic District on the outer periphery. The zoning map, or excuse me, the staff report, the application. This is the initial rendering that was provided by the applicant. As you can see, this shows multiple units right at the back of the sidewalk, street trees all the things that UMU intended for. This is a site plan that was provided by the applicant later on. It is a slightly different layout. It shows what appears to be garages out in front. This version is actually not possible under the ULDC because we don't allow for driveways so close to an intersection. This is a picture of what it looks like looking into the property from the intersection. This area is a mix. You've got quite a few old homes that have been converted to office space. You have the hotels. Because of the current lack of demand for office space, you've had several of those old buildings be converted back into homes. There's quite a bit of flexibility in the area. This does come with a staff recommendation of approval and unanimous approval from the Planning Commission.
I hereby open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this application? You have
Good
10
evening.
minutes.
My name is Chuck Harden. I work for Southern Engineering and Surveying at 160 Three Rivers Drive here in Rome. And we're the engineers on this project and are representing the owner. So we feel like this is could be considered an infill project. We're obviously are in need of housing, has been discussed, I guess, for about the last hour here. This is a project that would provide housing in the downtown area between the rivers. As most of you know, that this has been a vacant parking lot for as long as I can remember, and possibly even as long as most of us in here can remember. We feel like it's a tremendous opportunity to take a vacant piece of property and turn it into something that would be very, very nice, upscale townhome type development. The size of the project requires a UMU zoning to be able to get the units on there, and without really having to meet any setback requirements. So, the rendering that was presented was something in the general idea of what's proposed. There will be some changes to try to accommodate the size of the property. Quite possibly there will be front entry garages instead of what the rendering shows. We don't really feel like we can get anything else on that property other than that. But we do feel like we can probably manipulate and modify the sketch that we provided to accommodate what the ULDC requirements would be as far as driveways and as measurements from the intersections and that type of thing. So that's really all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? I'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve this rezoning from community commercial to urban mixed use. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins has left the room, and Robinson. Okay?
Okay, next item.
Next item is C24-04-06. It's a request for rezoning from high-density traditional residential to office institutional for the property located at 409 Hardy Avenue, Rome, Georgia 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel I14W367. Planning Commission recommends unanimous approval.
right, the applicant property is outlined on your screen. It's on Hardy Avenue in South Rome. It's currently a vacant lot. It is owned by Lovejoy Baptist Church, which can be seen on the opposite side of the block. They are looking to build a new building and expand their food and clothing ministry. They have also discussed the possibility of seeking to close this alleyway, this undeveloped right-of-way in the middle of the block. We've referred them to Public Works to discuss that whole process. Let's see. We do not have any plans for what the proposed building would look like. This is a zoning map of the area. The zoning they're applying for already exists on the existing church property. This would be a service to the community. This is the application itself. This is looking into the property from Hardy Avenue. You can see part of the church building in the background. Looking further down Hardy Avenue, the other church across the street. This does come with a staff recommendation of approval and a unanimous approval from the Planning Commission. Thank you.
I'll open the public hearing. Anyone here to speak in favor? If you will, give us your name and your address.
Yes, my name is Kerry Ingram, and I'm blessed to be the pastor and honored to be the pastor at Lovejoy Baptist Church, 436 Branham Avenue. And this is, what he showed you was not the back of the church, it was the back of our Life Center. And as he said, that is our property. And what we're trying to do is, we've been serving the community, giving out food and clothes for over 30 years now. And fortunately, the good news is that has grown. We serve over 125 families now. And we don't just give them a day's food, we give them a week's worth of groceries, about 4 boxes. And we have simply run out of room in our church annex. And it's our proposal to build a building that will complement our church, our Life Center, and the community. We would like for it to be a drive-around sort of thing, but we open up whatever the realtors suggest. And I do mean that any realtors that want to help us to make this happen, we're open to that. So we humbly ask you all to please consider to allow us to keep being a blessing to the community like that. We have people that work so hard to make this happen, and we're talking about people who, some of them otherwise would not have food. We give enough food for, we have it set up where they, if it's a family of a husband and wife, they get a certain amount. If it's a family of a family with children, they get another amount. So we get a tremendous amount of food, but we just don't run out of places to store it and put it, and then places when we pack it up to give it out, they come by in their cars, and sometimes the streets are just something else. You're welcome to come any third Wednesday and see it from about 9 to 1. So we humbly ask you all to consider allowing us to use our property to build, and it will be a building that will be something that's connected and looks good in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in favor of? I can't imagine anybody speaking against it, but I'm going to ask, anybody here speak in opposition? I declare the public hearing closed, and I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you for what you do. Mr. Clark.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. GMA has asked the City of Rome to go on record with their position regarding the ballot for GMA District 1 officers. You'll see that ballot in front of you. You can note that Commissioner Randy Quick is in line to be president of District 1. So I'm asking for a motion to approve the proposed ballot.
I will make the motion to approve that ballot.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just, it's great to have a Rome City Commissioner as the incoming president.
He represents us well. He really does. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Manager.
much.
Thank you.
I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Attorney? Under my time, I have nothing. Mr. Bojo?
Finance Committee will meet Wednesday, May 1st, 10:30 in the Sam King Room. And Water and Sewer will meet Thursday, May 2nd, 9 a.m. in the Sam King Room. And that concludes my report.
Commissioner Brock?
Development Oversight will meet Tuesday, May 7th, 10 o'clock in the Sam King Room.
Commissioner Cochran?
Under historic preservation, I've been asked to share an annual thing that is called Jane's Walk. Jane's Walk is named after sorry.
Jane Jacobs.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot her name. I'm so embarrassed. It's my profession too. Jane Jacobs, who is the mother of urban planning. Anyways, the walk is going to be May the 4th at 9 o'clock. Meet at the mausoleum. If you're interested, contact Julia Harris, RSVP. Her number is 706-236-5024. Thank you.
Commissioner Beeman?
Under my time, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that under the Sarah Regional Library will meet Wednesday at the Northwest Georgia Rockmart Housing Authority to conduct a training on budgeting, and that is the first time that the Sarah Regional Library will be in collaboration with the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority conducting budgeting classes. Up under Solid Waste Commission, the Solid Waste Commission will meet on Tuesday, April the 23rd at 8:30 a.m. at the Sam King Room. And up under Tourism, we will be meeting on Wednesday, April the 24th at 11:45 a.m. at the Myrtle Hill Cemetery. So that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Doss?
Mayor, really quick, I want to thank Commissioner Robinson for summarizing the St. Mary's Catholic Church landmark ceremony. And also, she just left about 3 minutes ago. Julia Harris was seated on the second row. And again, she did a great job as our planner/facilitator with this landmark ceremony. Thank you. That's my report.
Commissioner Quick?
My report, Committee on Committees, we have several recommendations that we put before the Commission on second reading tonight. First is Alcohol Control Commission, the reappointment of Billy Cooper, and we submit that in the form of a motion.
Have a motion?
Motion that we accept Billy Cooper as the ACC committee.
That's a second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say. All.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Secondly, in the Downtown Development Authority, 3 names: the reappointment of Taisha Lytle, the reappointment of Elaine Abercrombie, and the appointment of Jamie Baker replacing Harry Brock. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Land Bank Authority, the appointment of Robert Smith replacing Harry Brock, and that comes in the form of a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
And finally, the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority, the appointment of Billy Cooper replacing Jim Keaton. That comes in the form of a motion.
Motion needs a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, call the roll.
Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Do we get any discussion on this, Mr. Mayor? No?
I didn't understand the statement from Commissioner Cochran.
I'm sorry. Is there any discussion with this motion?
Discussion.
He's asking for discussion.
Yeah.
Before you vote, that's all it was.
What would you like to say?
Well, I think plenty of it's been said here tonight. Nothing against Mr. Cooper. Obviously, he's a great man, but I believe that the concerns of the community tonight outweigh a second appointment of Mr. Cooper to the Housing Authority.
Those are 5-year appointments. They're not lifetime appointments. And from this point forward, we're going to treat them like 5-year appointments.
Okay, I appreciate that comment, and all I'd like to say in rebuttal to that is if we are so concerned about term limits, then we need to put them on ourselves.
Appreciate your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And my vote is no.
Did you have anything else?
No, sir.
Commissioner Beeman?
I have to abstain because I am an employee of the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority.
I appreciate that.
Okay, we're down to voting. We're on Commissioner Doss.
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Anything else? Next is Commissioner Quick.
One other meeting announcement, the Rome Floyd Planning Commission will meet on Thursday, May 2nd, 2:30 p.m. in the Sam King Room. And that concludes my report.
Commissioner Collins is not here. Commissioner Robinson.
Sorry, I got tied up on that. The Alcohol Control Commission, we had we won't go into that now, Joe. We had a violation on the North Broad Food Mart, and we've recommended a penalty, and Mr. Clerk can go over the details of that.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. You all may remember the two issues we've had the previous 2 months, similar to this case, with the charge being made of someone drinking in an establishment that only has a package license. In this case, it was 1410 North Broad Street, Unit B. The Alcohol Control Commission had held a hearing, heard testimony from the police officer involved in the investigation, as well as the licensee of the establishment. And the ACC has recommended to you all that a penalty be imposed, which encompasses a 90-day suspension of the beer package license and a $2,000 monetary penalty. Per the normal protocol, if you all approve that, the suspension of the beer package license will go into effect tomorrow and will run for 90 calendar days. We held a hearing at the ACC. The City Commission does not hold a hearing, but the licensee is given a chance to speak before the City Commission. I don't believe the licensee is present tonight, so you all are free to move forward.
That comes as a recommendation in the form of a motion from the Alcohol Control Commission representative.
Yes, it does.
Need a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Doss?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, the next thing I've got on the Community Redevelopment Committee, the committee meeting scheduled for Wednesday, April 24th has been canceled. We'll move it forward to the next meeting. Downtown Development Authority will meet on Thursday, May the 9th at 8:30 in the Milner Building. And also, the Downtown Development Authority will host a Ruffalo feast celebrating Rome and Florida art and culture on Saturday, May the 4th, 10 to 4, downtown Rome. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Being no other business before the city commission, we are adjourned. Thank you.
I don't know how you pronounce that.